So a lot happened in the fourth issue of this 7-issue miniseries written by Brian Buccellato with art by Luis Guerrero and Christian Deuce. By the third issue, Superman and Atom Smasher had been brought down by the monsters. The Justice League was struggling to figure out just how and why the monsters appeared in their world, and they also had to contend with the likes of Luthor, Toyman, and the entire Legion of Doom. The comic is turning out to be pretty amazing, and I'm thrilled to dive deep into the latest issue. But before I do that, let's quickly bring you up to speed with the events of the first 3 issues.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Mini recap of the story until now. In the first issue, Clark Kent and Lois Lane's romantic dinner atop the Daily Planet gets interrupted by Godzilla's sudden appearance. Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom, led by Lex Luthor, infiltrates Superman's Fortress of Solitude, aiming to trap the Justice League in the Phantom Zone. They accidentally trigger a sequence that teleports them to Skull Island. Amidst this, then, the Justice League minus Superman engages in a fierce battle against the Legion, while the Toyman sees potential in using the island's titans as weapons. The story crescendos with Superman confronting Godzilla as the Justice League struggles to deal with these extraordinary challenges. In the second issue, Superman tried to play peacekeeper with Godzilla in Metropolis, but the big guy didn't want to back down. Superman's attempt to overpower Godzilla falls flat. Meanwhile, the Justice League was all hands on deck. Flash was on civilian duty, while Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Green Arrow gear up for monster mayhem. The situation's bonkers, with other titans, Skyla, Kamazots, and Behemoth appearing in major cities. Later, the League splits up. Hawkgirl joins Superman, Supergirl and the team rush to Central City, Wonder Woman squad saves Themyscira, and the Batman crew faces off against Kamazots in Gotham. Meanwhile, Green Arrow finds himself on Skull Island, ready to snoop around. Back in Metropolis, Lex Luthor's brewing plans in his office, witnessing Superman's struggle. Godzilla was proven to be a tough opponent, and even Hawkgirl's mace barely did any harm to him. Batman's team gets crafty in Gotham. They use sonic tech to floor Kamazots. Things get hairy, but they pull through. At the end of the comic, Superman and Hawkgirl distract Godzilla, but it is Shazam who stuns the monster. Unfortunately, though, Superman takes a fatal hit from Godzilla's atomic breath, protecting Billy Batson. The chapter closes with Superman down and Godzilla roaring in triumph. In Central City, Flash's fight with Skyla gets messy as toxic fog and bad guys slow him down. Luckily, Supergirl swoops in to clear the air, but then she learns that Superman's heart has stopped. She jets over to Metropolis, leaving Flash and Green Lantern to tangle with Skyla. Over in Metropolis, Atom Smasher jumps into the fray, but Godzilla kills Atom Smasher. Billy, as Shazam, teams up with Supergirl to duke it out with Godzilla and ultimately herds him back to the ocean. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl in Themyscira try to control Behemoth with their lassos, but he escapes. Seemingly answering a mysterious call, on the other hand, Flash and Green Lantern were juggling Legion of Doom villains and Skyla. Hawkgirl carries Superman's body away, while Green Arrow's survival skills are put to the test on Skull Island. Kong's not playing nice, but Supergirl's there in the nick of time, standing up to the giant ape. In Gotham, Batman's crew manages to sedate Kamazots, but are puzzled about the Titans' sudden appearance and retreat. Meanwhile, Cyborg detected a high-frequency beacon drawing the Titans away. Shazam reveals that Superman is gone. However, Batman remains in denial and insists on seeing it for himself. Lastly, Lex Luthor stumbles upon a mysterious metallic eye in the desert. Of course, it belongs to Mecha Godzilla. That was the end of the third issue, and now let's dive right into the fourth one. Batman in denial. In the aftermath of the monster mayhem in Metropolis, Green Lantern found himself on the pretty grim duty of carting away Atom Smasher's remains, while Shazam tailed Godzilla. He was hoping to keep tabs on the giant. Batman, on the other hand, swore to Superman's lifeless body that he'd sort this mess out. Wonder Woman tries to console Batman, but clings to the belief that Superman can't be gone for good. Meanwhile, Flash and Hawkgirl reveal that Superman was not showing any signs of life even under the healing rays of the Yellow Sun Chamber, but Batman continues to be in denial and refuses to accept the reality. He's fixated on the missing Dreamstone, Orion's sled, and Mother Box, and suspect the Toyman's sticky fingers. The League puts the puzzle together and figures out that a boombox tube whisked the Legion of Doom off to some alternate universe, and the Dreamstone brought them back to their world. Batman then focuses his attention on finding Toyman so that he could get his hands on the Dreamstone to send the Titans back to where they came from. Flash, with Cyborg's tech support, is on the hunt. Cyborg brings in more updates right, so it turned out that the beacon luring the Titans had gone silent. Skyless dived deep into the Atlantic. Behemoth was tracking towards North America, but Godzilla had his sights set on the Fortress of Solitude and Superman. With Godzilla on the move, Batman rallies the League to relocate Superman's body, still holding on to hope that he's still hanging in there. The Flash wonders if Supergirl can check Superman's vitals, but Wonder Woman mentions she's MIA, hopefully with a good reason. Toyman's play. On Skull Island, Supergirl was in a tense face-off with Kong, trying to figure him out. She clocks that he's not as hostile as Godzilla before leaving Skull Island and leaving a slightly miffed Green Arrow to keep tabs on the giant ape. Things heat up when Green Arrow stumbles upon the League of Assassins lurking in the trees. As would be expected, the situation escalates into a full-blown fight with Green Arrow holding his own until he's outnumbered. Just then, Kong jumps in and scatters the assassins. Green Arrow spots a mysterious ship nearby and decides to investigate. Back at the Watchtower, Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl dissect Superman's clash with Godzilla. Well, they were trying to hunt for clues in the radiation left behind. We meet Lois Lane once again, escorted by Green Lantern. Needless to say, she's hit hard after finding Superman's proposal ring and tearfully accepts his unasked question. Despite Green Lantern's offer to take her home, Lois opts to stay at the station. She's not just there to mourn, her reporter instincts kicks in when she spots security footage of the Legion of Doom at the Fortress of Solitude. She zeroes in on Toyman with a Dreamstone and, in true Lois Lane style, gets on the phone to dig into Lex Luthor's recent activities, specifically hunting for a red stone. The woman was prepared to not let her man's sacrifice go in vain. Meanwhile, the Justice League was off to handle an emergency call from Aquaman, which left Lois Lane with her thoughts and a mission at the Watchtower. Luthor's ultimate weapon. At the Legion of Doom's hideout, the villains are buzzing with plans to take down the Justice League. Black Manta steps up to simmer down the excitement to remind everyone they've got a strategy to stick to. Following this, Killer Croc, Captain Cold, Giganta, and Black Manta get into a heated debate over who's running the show. Giganta throws shade and suggests they're all just waiting for Lex Luthor's next move, but Black Manta claps back. He declares that with Deathstroke and Cheetah on recon duty, they're calling the shots. Over in Metropolis, Cheetah and Deathstroke scope out the aftermath of the Godzilla clash. They go through some LexCorp satellite imagery and spot Toyman using the Dreamstone to lead Godzilla away. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor and his right hand, Mercy Graves, are deep into crafting a Godzilla-style mecha. They tweak Project Atlas, aiming to build a mechanized titan that could trump any monster. Luthor was, of course, playing the long game, and he was correct to realize that Godzilla was too wild a card for their plans. He knows they can't just sit around hoping the monsters will do their dirty work. They need a game changer, and this mecha might just be it. Desperate times, desperate measures. In Atlantis, the Justice League's in for a show as Tiamat, this massive sea monster, chomps down on a giant squid. Aquaman and Mera join Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern, tasked with keeping Tiamat from busting into Atlantis. Aquaman has already tried chatting with Tiamat, but no dice. The creature's not taking any orders from anyone. The League's brainstorming session figures something luring Tiamat to Atlantis, probably the same signal that had the other Titans marching out of the cities. They toss around names like Lex Luthor and Toyman as prime suspects, all while duking it out with Tiamat. Things get wilder when Tiamat spews purple ink and whips up an electric storm. Cyborg rings in with an update. There's definitely a beacon pulling the monsters, and oh, Godzilla's on his way too. Before long, an epic fight between Godzilla and Tiamat, and Atlantis' dome taking a beating. As the battle raged on, Mera nudged Aquaman about a failsafe plan. She hinted that it was time to unleash the big guns. Meanwhile, Flash was trying to hustle Wonder Woman and Green Lantern out of harm's way when Tiamat's tail fin sent them flying. Aquaman, with a heavy heart, drove into a chasm. He was ready to go for a desperate measure in these desperate times. As you may have guessed, he releases the Kraken. Back to Green Arrow, he was sneaking around a ship and discovered a Skullcrawler's skull. But what was this all about? I guess we'll find out in the next installment of Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong. Marvel's verdict. For fans of DC, Godzilla, and Kong, this crossover is a must-read. If you haven't been following it monthly, definitely grab the trade when it drops. This issue, though, takes a bit of a breather. Buccellato has used it to lay down the tracks for the story's next phase. The pace slows, but hey, a good comic should take some time to set the stage, at least that's what I feel. However, I was hoping for more juice on the Green Arrow and Supergirl subplots. The last issue had Supergirl stepping up big time with Superman out of the picture, but here, she's kinda sidelined. We get a glimpse of her story storyline, and then poof, she's off the radar for the rest of the issue. Art-wise, Deuce killed it with some top-notch work, especially in the monster and action scenes, but then there's Tom Derenick stepping in for a few pages. His style's a bit rougher, which makes it pretty obvious which parts aren't Deuce's. These pages focus more on character development, but the shift in art style is noticeable. Overall, the artwork's still solid. In a nutshell, this issue's more about building up to what's coming next. With some mixed art vibes but an absolutely stellar cover, it's a bit of a slow burner, but it's setting up for what promises to be an epic second half. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.